What's up, Bible? Good morning, folks. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good day. Happy Friday to everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everyone. As you join us, let's share the show. Happy Friday. Please, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Let's share the show. Today that Friday, we got plenty to talk. Yeah, let's share the show. Today that Friday. We got plenty to talk. Let's share the show. Let's share the show. Please, as you join us, let's share the show. We got plenty to talk. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day to all of you. We have a lot to talk about today. A lot, and a lot. So let's share the show. As you join us, Milborn will be joining us, Monk will be joining us, Seku will be joining us. A lot to talk. Boku. We will talk boku talk today. Tell us where you're following us from so that we can. Today's Friday, so we can recognize you. Montreal. Mensa is watching us from Minnesota. Metro, how are you? How's Minnesota? I heard it's cold out there. How are you? And how are you? Let's share the show, please. Let's share the show. We are doing just good on this end of the wood. Let's share the show, please. Let's share the show. You're getting hot. American embassy all involved now. Serious. We into the serious part. Let's share the show first. You Metro, you say Minnesota cool? I wanted to come visit, but I'm not coming. I will not come. You enjoy that cool? You stay with your cool? I'm not coming nowhere. You will enjoy that cool. Folks, let's share the show then. You Metro says it's cold in Minnesota. Let her enjoy it. Me, I'm coming. Nobody's stupid yet. I'm not coming. I'm not coming. We'll read what the United States said. Also, we'll read it. Are you there? We'll read it. You Metro, I'm coming, man. Lead out of story. Maybe will be joining us soon here. Yvonne Eos watching us from Triangle, Virginia. Yvonne, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is your story? Yvonne, what's your story? What's your story, my dear? I see Milburn trying to join, but he not make it. He not make it. Trying to face things. I see Milburn want to join, but he not make it. Want face things. Milburn not make it. Milburn not make it. We also program move to Arizona. We're not telling the temperature move yet. At the best temperature right now. At the best temperature right now. My man, what's up, Digon?
Well, my brother, Sam, we can get data. I think you saw me drinking water, right? So when we can get data, I think we'll get water. Because water is coming from God. The deacon is the practice, in fact. I stay far because the reason is
they failed Deacon.
Oh, is he alive? In fact, I don't want to be Deacon anymore because the reason is just very simple. I try, look, Steve, yesterday evening, I was like following some of the track records of our quote unquote religious people. So when I sat back, I followed the track record of the former president, Pastor George Manewia. And I look at everything for long. I said, no.
Don't disrespect the former president.
You're making me sense.
Revin, stop saying Pastor Revin.
Oh, the man, no, the man, Pastor. Is there Revin?
The men are Revin. Don't take anything away from the men title. The men are Revin.
Okay, so
men are going on a country, but I see corruption going. We get Deacon, we get Revin. Go ahead.
So the former man of God, or in fact the former president, the man of God, his track record, accusations, lifestyle, so forth. I look at everything for long. I say, well, God be God. So I take in deep breath. Then I look at the current deacon. The current deacon, who is the president.
Who is the current deacon? Who is the first calling? Is it man? Who is the current
President Joseph Yema Buakai is the current.
Is that you first get? Is that you first get? That the man
of deacon. No, the man of deacon. No. Man, the man of deacon. We got to speak.
My young man. That the man of God, you carry your motto.
But the man of deacon, and they say you should test the spirit. Test the spirit to see whether the spirit is coordinating or something out of the spirit. No, Steve, man, don't bring that to me, man.
So you need to test about deacon spirit?
So the deacon, for the lifestyle and the way I'm seeing things, and for almost 1 year now, I noticed that I don't want to bear any religious tattoo anymore.
Yeah. But why?
Because it's just simple. Because when you bear any religious tattoo now, it'll be like, in fact, the tattoo will just be on you, but you will not be doing the thing of all those things that you think that the Almighty Creator wants you to do. Because the title, when you bear deacon, are people who are supposed to be helping the pastors.
Well, but they say the deacon that they say the deacon should be one wife, but you get accused of what deacon? And they say the deacon should be people who got wisdom. I can catch your head, but you get accused the deacon of taking power too.
And there are so many things. If you read a book or Timothy, there are so many things that they talk about deacons. So for me, I can make it. Let me be frank. Let me just confess to all of you today.
They say I want deacon. I don't flip on,
I can make it because the country I'm seeing here to be deacon here, don't forget it. Because, Steve, the manipulators, they will change you in split second. So no need for me to waste my own time. So my brother, I'll just be a believer. And because John 3:16 said that for God so loved the world that whosoever believe in the, he gave a only son and this and that, and you will not perish and so forth. So I will be believer, yeah, my brother, but I'm not think I will be deacon. Because yeah.
Melbourne, that other one you lie. They take on title you get it by 5
No,
by 4.
because our deacon not doing well. I don't want to be deacon anymore. I gave up.
It was for the no. It was for the deacon title business. You abandoned me.
Yeah, indeed. I agree.
You fought me publicly for the deacon title.
Yes.
You exposed me to danger for the same deacon title. You are not going to abandon the struggle. You will be deacon. We'll call the Baptist church. We'll let them know that you meet the criteria to be deacon, and you'll be deacon.
Well, maybe if the need be, but for now on, I will tell you that maybe I will step aside. Let me tell you, Steve.
Listen. Pump your brakes. All that your step aside, baby Bona is speaking. We're not inside with you. Melbourne, you will be on this Friday. We will be declaring you the deacon.
Look at my brother. Conway, you can say that they will not give up. I will give up.
No.
I will give up. Let me be frank.
No. Monk.
Nobody can convince me to be deacon anymore. I don't want to be no religious person.
No, I'm glad Monk show up on time.
I don't want no religious title.
Monk, we have a situation here. We have an impasse here in the church. No, Monk say, you know, won't be deacon running over and deacon title. What say you, my man? Because that's the problem we're facing right now. Monk.
Hello?
Monk.
Yeah, my man. Just before you greet our people, we have an impasse in the church. Melbourne all of a sudden woke up the morning and say, I won't be deacon no more because he look at the track record of Joia and he look at the track record of Joseph Boaka as religious leaders and leaders of the country. So he moved him from in deacon Benin. In fact, he's no longer Christian, he's a believer now. Mom, say you, my man. What say you?
Christian. No, I'm Christian.
The man is confused. The man know that he can pass the spiritual litmus test, so he tried to give away the title. And that's what we've been saying. When you focus on spirituality, you will be better than when you focus on religion, because religion keep you in the box. Religion is limiting. And Mayborn know that looking at the people who's supposed to be setting example, they can pass the threshold. So when you want to take the title, when people who's supposed to be doing better than you can't even pass the basic standards. So that's why Mayborn look at the whole thing like, you know what? Let me focus on my own salvation, my own faith, rather than carrying the title. Because if my lifestyle is better, then it will speak for itself. I don't need a religious title to know that I'm serving God. Once I know my daily work of faith is in alignment with the teaching of God, I'm okay. That's spirituality, not religion. So maybe I won't get title.
Thank you, my brother. You knew it.
Yeah, but Melvin, quickly before we go on to, you got a video that you play for us today. Credit to OKFM with Julia Jet. Some of you must have heard it. Want to stick with that video to have conversations today. We'll talk also about it.
Steve, I'm not cutting you just before Mayborn coming. Today is Friday, folks. I'm just reminding our listening audience from the US and around the world, more specifically Liberia. Today is Friday, and you know what we do. We keep the lights on SKTV. We make sure the operation is ongoing. So to our listeners and our regular contributors and sympathizers, I just called to remind that today is Friday. Go ahead, Steve. Do your thing. I just want to remind.
Thank you so much for the reminder. Thank you so much. I hope maybe Sebu can put the number on it so we can pin it out to. That would be great. Jet,
yeah, let me try to do that. All right. So this is the number. Good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So maybe just before you come in to give an update from Liberia, quickly, folks, we'll be talking also today about the United States coming in. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about the United States coming in. Again, credit to Julius Chet. And the OKFM family, they had a discussion this morning, and Samuel Koga was picked up in the discussion. He called on. We listen to it, we analyze it. We talk about some of the things that we go through, some of the threats, direct and indirect threats that we receive from people within the government, especially if you're saying the right thing, that you don't want to censor you or don't want to tell you what to say or whatever it is. We'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about the Americans also speaking up on this whole government thing, on the whole impasse. We'll talk about it too as well. So a lot of different things we got to cover today. We got to talk about today. So stay put. Maybe quickly before you play that video, let me ask Monk here if anything caught his attention from an international standpoint, because Bashar al-Assad is not there anymore. He left Syria. The rebel leaders took over as we speak. But then the American also started airstriking in Syria, which many people found to be very interesting. But it is reported, I did follow the reporting, I read it too, I read the transcript, that they're concerned about, their position being attacked by rebels or whatever it is. What say you quickly before we go to Melbourne?
For me, I got a different take. For me, I'm an anti-war activist. No matter which policy or presidential candidate or president subscribe to, for me, because I believe in something called Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and war is totally opposed to Universal Declaration of Rights. There will be some dictators, there are some autocratic leaders around the world, but when you take a country and you turn it over to a bunch of rebels, I know we learned from the situation from Iraq. We learned from the situation from Libya and other countries around the world when it came to the Iraq Spring. So I don't place my bet on rebels taking over the country, because I know whenever a leader stays in power for a very long time, there is a gap. And Assad, can you imagine, Steve, Assad and his father, their combined reign lasted for more than 50 years between the father and the son in Syria. Yeah. So if you're going to take that guy from power, because the people are not used to democracy, they are not used to the transition of government. We're talking about half a century of a family dynasty, and you just take that country and put it into the hands of rebels, it would be a problem. That's why, there are opportunities for the rebels to do the right thing, but I'm not placing my bet on them, because I know when it comes to rebel and people with religious and fundamentalist idea, I know how they operate. Like I said, the case study was Libya and Iraq. We know the mistake that was made. So the U.S., Israel, and other countries around the world will take their position, because even the Joe Biden administration is kind of confused. Yeah, you want to trust the rebel, but equally so there is no guarantee of that trust. So you want to protect your strategic interest. It's the same thing that Russia was doing. Russia know that all their top grade military equipment was stored in Syria because of the weather condition in Russia. There's nuclear submarine. So they were trying to protect. At the end of the day, Steve, it's all about power. It's all about strategic interest. It's not about the law for humanity and all these things. The same people that will tell you, oh, a human rights issue, they are the same one that will be violating human rights. So at the end of the day, I say, once a leader can come in power and maintain or calm, you can protect women, you can protect lives and property, I will be on your side. It's part of your political view, because that's how I see it. Since the people who claim that we got to give people universal declaration of right, whether it's the United Nations, whether it's the U.S. government, but at the end of the day, when you understand the game, that all these things they are just talk, they are not in reality. And why you think the Israeli now, they are running back to the Golan Heights to go and protect that particular area, even though it's against international law, but they are afraid that, Syria is right on the border of Israel, and Syria have been a proxy state for Iran. So with Assad not in power, if you turn that country over to an illegitimate group, which happens to be the rebel, they could do more damage to Israel than the way Lebanon was doing damage to Israel, because it sits on the border of Israel. So Israel be like, okay, we understand the international protocol, we ain't supposed to go above our limit, but you know what? We are going to protect the Golan Heights because it's very closer to our cities, and those rebels could use that to also launch rocket into Israel. So even though the international laws and restrictions exist, we will violate it in our own protection and safety. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah. So I'm not betting on the rebel. I'm only hoping for the best, and we hope they can prove us wrong. But it's yet to be seen. So I'm not on the rebel bandwagon yet, even though Assad himself is a bad guy, but I'm not on the rebels bandwagon.
Yeah, and Monk, you are right, 100%. I have to agree with you on that, on this particular stand here, because again, like you said, this is something we've tried more than once. We've taken the country, given it to rebels, and once you give it to rebels or dictators, sometimes, in most cases, it's proving that these guys don't adhere to any kind of international rules or standards. They got their own thing that they're doing.
Oh yeah.
And whether you like it or not, they got to follow their own plans. They always have some kind of plan. They always have some kind of plan B.
Mm-hmm.
While you're planning on something different, these guys are totally planning on something else. And hey, like it or not, we're in for a rude awakening. And this is serious. This is very, very serious. We can't joke around with it. So yes, I agree with you that we will until these rebel leader, but then also, more what's interesting, this new rebel leader, this guy has a bounty on his head of 10 million from the United States.
Because they can trust him.
Yeah,
He's
this guy has
popular in Syria, but they can trust him. They know. Why do you think they will put a bounty on him? Because they are not sure. They are not.
So how do you allow this guy? How do you work with this kind of guy who you have bounty on his head?
Yeah, and how can you work with him? That's what the mixed message we're talking about. The way how they tell you things operate, that's not how things operate in reality. They will say one thing and do the opposite. You are telling me you welcome the rebel, you want to do business with the rebel, but you got a bounty on the rebel leader's head. Isn't that a contradiction?
Yeah,
it's a big contradiction. And you know one thing, let me tell you something, Steve. If you don't know, maybe you heard it before, or maybe you don't, you never really focus on it. When you look at the entire Middle East right now, one of the reasons that the Middle East is very, very chaotic, right? Even though we have problem with Assad, but Assad was a legitimate leader. He was the one that been ruling that country for the past 25 or 26 years. One thing that international observer will always make mention of Assad was the one that protected the religious minority in Syria. You know, Syria possesses the biggest Christian community in the entire Middle East. And another group they call the Alawites. They are not Shia. They are not part of the Shia sect. So people believe that okay, these guys that are the rebels, some of them are fundamentalists. If you remove Assad, they could inflict damage on the religious minority group in the country. Then even the guy who you consider to be a bad guy, because we saw the same thing happen in Iraq. People never understood that in Iraq, even though Iraq is a Shia nation, but Saddam Hussein himself was a Sunni. It almost like you take a Kranga and making the superintendent for Geo people in Nima County. Okay, yes, he's a minority in a country that is predominantly controlled by one sect. So the only way he can survive, he must rule with an iron hand, or iron fist. So guess what? They removed Saddam. What happened? The whole Iraq spilled out. You got a religious group, how they call it, got Mutada, Assad, and all those radical guys taking over the country now. You end up losing control. So that's my fear. I want the best for the Syrian people, but the whole rebel thing, they got to prove us wrong before we can start believing. Until then, everything is a toss-up. And I think that the U.S. government themselves is telling us that they are not even sure themselves. So who am I to question their decision? Yep.
Yeah, it is. Well, Milborn, quickly, that was from an international standpoint. But Milborn, can you please bring us up to speed on what's going on locally? What's going on?
Well, thank you so much, Stephen. Let me say thanks to Monk and to our viewers, our listeners, and to all of you, our supporters. Indeed, like Monk and Steve said, today is Friday. So don't forget to chip into our basket in making sure that we receive all the support from you. You know, yes, that's the only way that will function properly and give you all of the play-by-play information that you need to know or to hear about. So again, Steve, yes, indeed, we are good here in Liberia. Today is the 13th of December, the 12th month, and the year remains the same, 2024. So many things happening, and to be specific, what happened at the Capitol building between our lawmakers from the lower house, where we have the majority bloc and that of the minority bloc, and we have two speakers right now in Liberia, play by play, all of the happening, mixed with action and so forth. But the U.S., our traditional ally, also sent out their press release, their own take when it comes to all of the happenings in maybe in Liberia, especially at the lower house, and they are not calling on the lawmakers or the House of Representatives to respect the rule of law and to make sure that they do the Liberian people work. But apart from that, Steve, there's a tension that have been building up with the data and calls or voice call issue coming from the service provider, that is the Lone Star Cell or the MTN, and that the Orange Liberia controlled by the LTA. Mind you, quite recently there have been mixed reaction that the LTA, headed by the government of Liberia, they stopped the telecommunication operators from providing some of the local services, like some of the promotional services that used to make our people to feel like maybe they can communicate, easily communicate through the data and voice calls and so forth. There were a lot of reduction and so forth. So the public was so angry, and the rescue government now, headed by the the DCOM, President Joseph Yemambuaka, instructed the LTA to have meeting and to find a common ground. So in that meeting later on today, they agreed that the promotional aspect of the force calls and the data calls, everything should last for only 1 month. So after the 1 month, we don't know exactly as to where Liberia going to be or what's going to happen after the 1 month promotional aspect of the telecommunication angle of Liberia, headed by Lone Star and other Orange. So there are a lot of mixed reactions. Liberians are feeling so frustrated, and they are heavily united when it comes to what's going on with their data and their voice call. So far so good, Steve. Another monk. These are happening back home in Liberia.
Well, let me say this on more. What say you based on what you heard? Because I got a total different version, a total different view of this.
You're talking about the U.S. position?
No, not the U.S. When we get to the U.S. position here, the data, voice call, and all that foolishness that they're passing around with.
The data thing, I really don't understand it yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm not paying attention, but I see people making like a lot of Facebook posts about, I don't know. I can't tell you the detail of that. I just seen it popping up here and there, but I have no details about the whole data thing, whether they are reducing people data or whether they are charging them extra. I really don't know. Maybe we will get more information, but as of now, no, I haven't really been paying attention to it. I just seen it popping up here and there, but I don't know the full details. I have no idea about that.
So I want to agree with Monk. Let me say I want to agree with Milborn on the report of the data thing. I've been following it this morning. I've been listening to them here and there. Let me just say this. Let me say this to the LTA too. I know Patrick Honda and a funny man anyways. But I want to say I stand with Patrick Honda then today. The Labrampo will not do nothing. They're a bunch of cowards. I say it. They will not do nothing. You will take away that data. They will just may not. The next day they will go to something different. So you take the data away. They will not do nothing. The thing that matters to the people that can kill human being, they don't rise up. That data they will rise up for. You don't waste your time. They're just making noise. That data thing mean nothing. I say it. They're so cowards. At the end of the day, they will turn around and come back again and make it look like it's a normal thing. So let the LTA take away the data. Let the LTA enjoy the let Patrick Honda then generator enjoy. Let Patrick Honda generator then be beeping and be better than you, and you can do nothing. You just may know you're a bunch of talking people that can do nothing. You don't stand up for yourselves. You guys got slave mentality. You're waiting for rescue again. You're waiting for somebody to come rescue you in the data bin. You're not serious man group of people. I say it, and I stand by what I say. You will be cowards. You will be living like that. People be using you and abusing you and treating you like slaves in your own country. You will do nothing. You can stand up for anything. So that it there. I'm not here to play no fool. I'm not here to fool around with y'all. The time you're so stand up, you can stand up. The time you're so rise up, you can rise up. To stand up for your own rights, you can stand up for your own rights. You're waiting for the American government to speak on the data bin too. You're waiting for the American embassy to write about the data bin. You're not serious minded group of people. You're like criminals. You're like crooks. You're like liars. You're not like good people. So at the end of the day, I stand with Patrick Honda and the LTA management. You're giving to them for 1 more. After 1 more, let them shut them off and go sit down somewhere. They're not like it, let them go to the Supreme Court. When they go to the Supreme Court will rule and they will do exactly what we want to do. The Supreme Court second do nothing. That's how the country will be ran. Let the country be discombobulated, confusing, chaotic, and, serious confusion. That is right there. You'll sit on your main or they will not get time for your data, Benny. You're in serious anyways. If you're real serious with you, they kill human being in our country. Somebody can cut somebody's throat. They carry the person to throat, they carry the person to court. The government free the person walk out of that country, living in the United States, living normal life. You ain't go stand up for it. What you stand up for? You're staying for nothing. Maybe let's get to see what man issue, man. I don't care about that your whole LT or whatever. Actually, let me tell you something. Y'all said go get them 1 more. Why you get them 1 more for? Why you get them 1 more for?
So quickly, 30 seconds. So when it comes to that data issue and all the voice call, monster handle, not been following. So Mark, the thing about it is that once upon a time, the rescue government headed by the DCOM, President Joseph Yemambuaka. Is DCOM though moving forward? That will be calling him the DCOM, President Joseph Yemambuaka, his team, Patrick Honda and the rest of the team, Mo Ali, all of them. They were once upon a time criticizing the past government for reducing the such charges or the data bonus and now the voice calls back to back in the name of, oh yeah, the Liberian people were suffering back to back. Now God be God. Monk.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, I think somebody plays. Okay, good. So God be God, Patrick Honor was appointed on the board as one of the commissioners on the board. And today, you know, they have 5 commissioners. So the data bonus, there are a lot of promotionals that sometimes some of the internet or the telecommunication or provider they do. Like for example, they provide the 12 gigabyte for $3. So if you buy the 12 gigabyte for $3, it carries for 15 days. All of these things have been cut off. And if you buy $1 will carry you for 90. They will give you 90 minutes. Now it's around 60 minutes. If you buy that, for example, before, if you pay $50, they will give you 10 minutes. Now it's around 8 minutes. If you pay $20 before, it used to give you 5 minutes. Now it's around 3 minutes. So these are all of the deductions, or these are all the things that happen.
All that what you're talking was we take that 3 minutes away, we take the 30 minutes away. You ain't good for nothing in that country. You ain't serious money about anything, and y'all will not do nothing at a good thing. You know the interesting part about it, I'm not going to waste my time here. Let me be honest with you, Mabel. I am not going to waste my time on a bunch of people that stand up for nothing. Your rights are trampled on. You stay there and you say you leave it with God. Guess what? You're leaving with God. Maybe God will speak to the heart, okay, you're the 3 days back, but for now we'll take everything away, and y'all will not do nothing. You'll go to the church, you'll go fast and pray there, be yelling and be calling Jesus and the Holy Spirit. And people that will say, yo, this causing serious thing, talking about a bunch of irresponsible people. You're saying that what people then running here around, running circles around you. What thing will make your vest in that country? What will make your vest?
But yeah, one thing I'm kind of confused with the information that Mason just provided. One thing is, are they saying that those promotional packages expired, or the service provider are trying to nickel and dime them by increasing the price for their data? I don't understand. Or are they stealing their minutes? I mean, I really don't get it.
Okay, good.
Because if service provider are terminating their promotional packages, which means they were just doing you a favor. It's not forced. It's not mandatory upon them to give you packages. Okay, that business. So my thing is, from your own observation, you are in Liberia. Like I say, I haven't followed this issue. Why are you sensing that people are trying to cheat the customers, or the packages for promotion expire?
Good. So Monk, yes, it's right. Like for example, if Melbourne is supposed to buy $3, that's supposed to last for 15 days. That means either the government of Liberia or through the LTA, they will not make more money. They'll be thinking, no, I think the promotion, the duration you gave me is too much, and that kind of a promotion may not, or maybe will not make us to get money. So the only thing is you got to cut off these promotions, because the more time you give, the more delay or good. How are you getting the point, among? So these are
so what you are saying here, every time they extend the promotion, the government end up losing on revenue. So the government believe that the longer the promotional packages extend, they take more money from the government. So rather than the government subsidizing the LTA and to make so that the customer can get a better deal, the government now is pushing even the service provider to start taking away these packages, because they believe, oh, I see what Steve said, you should leave it with God. Now I got a case.
Monk, let me tell you what happened. Let me put it in simple English what happened. The government peeping on their head and telling them it's raining. In other words, the service provider say we'll get the promotion. The government say no, take the promotion away.
Take the promotion because we want the money out.
The government has all been for the people. Say the people then should take the promotion, and the company should take the promotion away so that they can benefit. And you want for me to sit on the radio, sit on television, or sit on social media network and say a year to say, oh, let the government give back. The government should not give free. And with the government, I stand with the government. Let me tell you something, the people not ready for anything yet. I want to know the day you'll get this in our country and stand up. You get a government that you elect, come and abuse you. They can get you food to eat. The little meanings then that you get on your phone for free. They go and connive with the company and say the company might take it away from you. And you stay saying that and say, Jesus will come and save you. Like getting 6 years. And your business, you're getting another 6 years. In fact, we'll get Joseph Boaga 12 years. They will treat you like slave in our country.
Hello, my name is just a deacon. Because I be adding the meta to the deacon. Please,
like I said before, the church is a hustle ground in Liberia, and I'm worried about it. Most of the church, 99% of the churches are so hustle grounds, bunch of hustle them packed together. You ain't serious about anything in that country. You don't get. I see them rising the other time going to the church in that place that around Chocolate City area where in Ghana's area where they're talking about they get gay right, come and get married there, so they wear vests and they go and protest and they go look at the kind of place you can waste your energy, an irrelevant, irresponsible group of people. That kind of teenagers will be wasting your time on. That teenagers will be wasting your time on. That those teenagers will be wasting your time on. So, some of your husbands, then some of your wives, then they're homosexual people. I say it to the honest, and I said it more than one. I stand by what I say. I'm not taking it back because that's the truth. The in government is sleeping with each other, those men, and you want to kind of go to one church to go make noise there. Why the government are taking away your stuff? You can go make noise to the government. Why? Why you can rise up and tell Joseph Boaga to behave himself and tell Patrick Honda then to behave themselves? Y'all know the play Patrick Honda they're living now. Y'all know the play the government can be working. Y'all know the LTA office. Why you can go there? Why you can rise up against those people? You're wasting people time in our country. Bunch of people then who slave mentality, you waiting for somebody to come rescue you. The American government was soon right about the LTA thing too. And I was waiting for.
They would. Yeah, I was waiting for.
That one. The
funny part. Yeah, the funny part about the whole thing, right? People are already struggling, like you said. You struggling, nothing good going for you, and the little minute you can call, maybe place international call here and there to reach out to your relatives, your friends, your family member, and somebody want to take it away, and the government doesn't even have that moral span to say, okay, even in the midst of a tough economy, why would you want to increase or take this particular or promotional incentive from the people? I mean, come on. So it means that you're telling me that the investor is mostly interested in your people than the government that should be defending you. That's just why it means that your government could care less about your survival.
The government don't even provide anything for the people. The place the people can get a hustle from that they can get small meaning and to test their friend and family member to keep in touch to be a blessing for them. The government say that close that one, but they're not vexed. They're not vexed about that one. They're not vexed about where the people are undermining their own interests. They're not vexed about the pass around who they talking. You're waiting for American government to read about the LTA. The American government can read about the LTA too. Let me say something to one joker that keep writing on the show and keep talking funny thing because he keep attacking people. I know another fool again that come in another name. Let me say this to you, Mr. Mohammed, whatever you call your name. First of all, let me say something. Let me tell you something. Fools are not my friends. I don't take certain things lightly. You don't come here and can fool around. I will check you really quick. If you don't know, maybe you've been watching the show, you asked before. Go ask. Ask. Right? I don't play games. If you think I'm living my life to go to heaven, you are wasting your time. I'm not into that. Your foolish fantasy you're passing on, talking about, oh, you will not make heaven. The person who you support will not make heaven before me. Just about will make heaven. He is the
even know that in fact that you're going heaven.
No, hold on one second. Hold on, let me deal with it. Let me deal with the idiot. Because some of these idiots come here, they think that some of us will take any prisoner. No, we don't take any prisoner. We address fools in public and check them in public. Let me say this to you, Mr. Mohammed Colette. Let me say this to you. I am not living my life to go heaven. No, that's not what I'm living my life. I'm living my life on a realistic basis. When you get to heaven, tell Jesus, I'm saying it here on earth, that I don't fool around. And when I got to heaven, maybe I got some questions for Jesus himself. But let me say this to you because you don't even understand where you are headed. You don't understand where you are headed. You got a man that you support in Joseph Boaga who is a certified liar and a crook. He has lived all his life crooking other people. He has lived all his life in deception. You want to question me? You should be questioning the person who you are supporting. Question Joseph Boaga, who lived at his age. At 80 years old, he claimed to be 80 years old. I'm still doubting anyway. At his age, Mama, please give me a chance. Please give me a chance. Let my thought, please. Melbourne, please don't cut me off. At his age, you're passing around in that country with church and religion. You got Joseph Boaga who is deceiving an entire nation at his age. At 80 years old, he's still formed in lies and games or whatever it is. You're not questioning him. You're ready yet. You are not ready yet. But don't worry, you're black and rolling very soon. We can take food on the platform for safekeeping. No one play our video. Let's move on. We're not tolerating food.
No time to waste. Let's go straight. Yes, so this is the video.
Sorry, let's take. There's an international call, but let's take Representative Samuel Koga. He's one of the key persons in this. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, Julius. Good afternoon.
Go ahead, sir.
And good afternoon to those who really learn the afternoon. You know, Julius, you guys are people that will respect your based on your professional backgrounds and how you articulate and what have you. But you know what brought destruction in Rwanda was because of the journalism. You should know that the legislature have a distinct function, and those that were affected by any decision reached by the legislator are people who work with him. And it is our prerogative. Julia, you are not affected. But the way in which you're producing the show, you are trying to incite the Liberian people against the government.
How?
I'm telling you, but listen, your analysis, I'm not talking to you, you are a very young, brilliant guy I respect.
How now, boss?
You understand? You making a case as though you were the one that was affecting the process.
But you don't. Am I not a Liberian citizen? Can I not offer advice? Can I not do analysis of the issues?
But you are telling as a journalist, just whatsoever saga that took place, present it to the citizen, let the citizen
and so now I should not do analysis.
What analysis? I'm telling you, too young to be.
So what is the wrong thing that the whole world is listening? What is the boss man? No, you gotta answer the question now. What is the wrong thing that I said?
You are inciting the problem against the decision that was reached. You are saying that the decision we took, we're trying to exacerbate the situation on grounds that there were some guys that were suspended, and in addition we have had another one.
But so if you are mounting political pressure, how do you encourage other people to come your way?
Julia, in the first place, I want you to understand this. If 7 persons were on the listing that ought to be sanctioned or for decision to reach against them, and based on some level of investigative activities, that they say, well, we need some additional prima facie evidence against the order. Therefore, we can take action on 3 persons for now. And owing to the fact that the investigative team have realized and emerged with sufficient information, it is incumbent upon the board or the body to take a decision. So we cannot.
Did you give them due process?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
That could have been your job. Journalistically, you would have come to the Capitol building as a journalist. Find out that gentlemen have come as a journalist to inquire.
How you give them due process?
Julius, if you come to the Capitol building,
but you on the radio now, and you can say it.
But I'm inviting you to tell.
But you don't need to invite me now. You are on the radio. How did you give them due process, sir?
Julius, if you have come to inquire, you would have known.
Okay. It is my information. It is my information that you did not give them due process. You should now disprove that.
Due process,
you can now disprove it that you did not give them due process.
To disprove it, I'm inviting.
No, you don't. You do not need to. You are now on the radio, so you should disprove it to the Liberian people. But that's why you on the radio.
Julia, let me tell you something. I can also tell you that if you carry out publicity that undermine or that carry out some level of bringing the house into public disrepute, that management can be invited by the house. Do you know that?
Which of the management?
No, your radio station.
No, invite me, sir. Invite me.
But you need to stop what you're doing.
Doing what? I am not doing anything wrong. I am not doing anything wrong. Okay, thanks so kindly. Okay, thanks so kindly.
Stop.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so kindly, Representative Samuel Koga. And I will restate clearly that if you are fighting a political process, you have to give the other side a leeway to encourage them to come over to you. All you have been doing is a pressure campaign to have Speaker Kofa to resign. You went ahead and did an election and left almost 30 of your colleagues out. You are suspending some of them. without pay, how do you encourage them to even put pressure on Kofa to resolve so as to resolve this issue? And you think you can call on the radio and threaten me?
Well, folks, that was the interaction. But on top of that, we'll have Monk react to that in Melbourne. We just want to make sure that we are clear on certain things. That first of all, it's very interesting that you have a law who is leading the quote unquote anti-Kofa black or majority black call on the radio to threaten, censor, or tell generally what he can do and what he cannot do. It's very, very interesting. That's an interesting point. First of all, that we need to take into consideration. But let's talk about that before we come to the American embassy on what they wrote, and we'll read it. Monk, how do you react to what Koga did?
One thing I know about journalism, that's why we on SKTV we take a different approach. Because for me, I don't like to listen to sound bites. I like to get the entire premise of an argument before I can render judgment. And listening to what happened, I never knew what led to the conversation. I only heard the lawmaker calling to respond. And when you listen to that interview, even Solomon George, the former seditious, the former lawmaker, he was even accusing the former President Georgia of being the main architect behind the removal of Fanatic Kofa. And one thing I always tell people when you're into this news business or into journalism, for people, whether you're a political commentator, you're a political pundit or journalist, I tell people, when you come in the public square, you want to present the facts first. Give people the information as it is. Then you can start rendering your opinion, because not too many people, or not in all cases, people will side with you when it comes to your opinion. That's what we call it, opinion. But you should first present the facts. And the one thing people keep missing, I understand where Julius J is coming from. He's saying that they were never given due process. My brother, if you talk about due process, then you are going back to the same argument about politics and the Constitution, because the Constitution lay out the process for due process, or using a legal means to remove the speaker. But like I said from day one, even when you read the American embassy response or their communication, you will just pick up all the political terminology. Practice or democratic practices, rule of law, open, transparent process, peaceful debate, maintain the peace. When you use the word compromise, it just means it's political. That there is no answer to this thing, so we should come to the negotiating table. You got to do things to bring about unity and peace. My brother, we understand these things, but the question is, you are still not laying up the premise as to how you are going to accomplish these things. So I know it's a political matter, and I will keep saying it every time, because when you use the word compromise, when you use the word political process, then I know it's political. And I understand where Julius J is coming from, but at the end of the day, I will keep saying it. You can form your own opinion, but this thing is deeper than what people believe on the surface. And one thing I said, because I keep asking myself, I say, if you want to protect Fanatic Kofa in this whole process, you're talking about CDC lawmakers. Why would there be a split in his own party's caucus? And Solomon George of Upward, because he even referenced the issue. I don't know. I think I got a video. I don't know whether we'll have the time to play it. But Solomon George of all people said, yeah, Georgia is showing two-face on this thing. He pretended like...
Mark, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah. I said it. Melbourne will play after you.
Yeah. He's sending a signal that he's in the caucus of Fanatic Kofa, or he's trying to protect the speaker, maintaining his speakership. But tactically, from a political standpoint, he's using Thomas Fala to bring about this chaos. So who am I, brother? I always said it. Politics will always be politics. You can believe in the law, you can call for your due process, but I know when it comes to the day-to-day transaction of government business, politics will always take precedence. And I keep maintaining my statement. Mr. Khan, welcome to the show. Let me stop there for now. You go ahead.
Thank you so much. Melbourne, let's hear Solomon George's assertion.
You understand to me? I think what you said is no, it is true. No, hello, hello. Even though I don't want to be Deacon, but don't push me. Deacon, don't lie. Check what you say me, man. You won't be pushing me again.
No. It says you're sending. It says you're sending. So
that may not reach to me yet. But let me respectfully disagree with Mark. And
okay, there now.
And I think Monk is not doing well. Monk, you got to answer the question that been asked by Steve, because I think you are touching the question. So yeah, but again, the video still loaded. So I don't know. You want me to respond or you want me to
respond quickly to what you heard. Respond quickly, and then I'll chime in.
So Monk is almost like all of us here on the show today, with all of our different views and so forth. And somebody called maybe from the other end and said, Monk, the way you people are proceeding is wrong. In fact, we can summon you people, we can get rid of the show, we can do this. I think that's not the kind of statement that we all want to hear from our political actors, no matter which side they are. So for me, I respectfully disagree with you on that interpretation about maybe you want to bring how they call it, Solomon George into this and this. But Steve, to the question, I think the lawmaker, I think he's trying not to cross his bound.
No, let me respond to you if we go to Steve. You and Steve will have the time what you just said. That's why I told you from the beginning of my response that I never got the full detail or the exchange. I was only listening to Koga because I know there was a reason why Koga called. So I don't take some, but I am saying what Koga was saying is he assuming that Julius Jeb is spreading mixed information on the radio, and that's true. The lawmakers, they have that constitutional right to even summon people, because don't forget, you are the fourth branch of government. We are the fourth branch of government for the fact that we are on the air. That's what I'm saying. Until I can understand the crux of the argument, I'm not going to look at Koga's statement and try to make a doctrine out of it. And that's exactly what he was saying. Julius Jeb is saying you never give them due process, and Koga is saying, he's saying he's applying political pressure. That's why I said I never got the full detail of the exchange. All we listened to was Koga responding and threatening Julius Jeb. So I just hope we clarify that to the listener. But go ahead, Steve. I just want to clear that point.
Before no one plays that video, let me give my take on what I heard. This conversation was geared towards due process of the suspensions of other members, and Julius Jeb was saying that you want resolution to this thing, but you never even gave the other people due process. You want to remove them. This is all political pressure. So it made Koga to call on issue. Because Julius Jeb repeated himself, the statement that he made earlier. It made Koga to clear his call on the show. But let me say this. I will say this to Monk. I will say this to everybody else that is hauling and pushing this. Before we get to the U.S. Embassy's accession, I will say this. What are the government support them with? What are the government does not support them with? But keeping all factors constant, we know that the government supports them as we speak. I will say this to Monk. This is not political. This is a bunch of guys who have refused to respect the Constitution and vehemently disrespecting the Constitution to create chaos. We need to stop using the word "this is political" to aid and abet other people who want to do wrong against the Constitution. So you're trying to tell me, say, well, somebody jump out today, and God forbid, go take gun and put it on somebody here and say it is political. We should consider it political. It's not political. Let's stop. The play why it was political was when it was still in the chamber and they were still talking. They were still going here and there. But when you go and remove somebody illegally, it's not political. You've taken an action. And the law is clear about that. When you take an action against somebody illegally, it's not political. You see, this is where the guy used these statements. Oh, it is political. It is political. So be able to make sure that the public does not know that they are trying to do something illegal. What they are doing is illegal. It has reached illegality. That's why other people went to court. When you stay talking in your mouth and you take action here, it's still political. When you're still running around in circle, when you're still doing the meeting over there and the other men joining the meeting, those are all political activities. But once you go and remove somebody, you have infringed on a right. It becomes a legal issue. They take you to court. You don't take political issue to court. You take legal issue to court. So we, it's sad that we've got to say this is political. Even sometimes when you want to say the truth, they say, "Oh, and you're trying to be political." We can't do that. The country is not politically charged. What the country is under the rule of bunch of people who refuse to abide by their own laws, criminals, liars, crooks, who have said to themselves that they will do wrong. So it's not a political. Let's stop this thing. I hear us keep saying, "Oh, it's political, it's political, it's political." Let me tell you something. When Donald Trump was taken to the House of Representatives for the impeachment, it was not political. He committed crime against the United States. There were people, when they impeached him, there were people that testified to it. You can't say that was a political move. That was not a political thing. It was the fact. The facts were there. So the fact here is Fanatic Kofa has been illegally removed. Illegally removed. That is the point. We can't say it's political. The maneuvers might have been politically driven or whatever it is, but the point that we are now is not political. It's an illegal act that is going on, and the Justice Minister coming to give interpretation, and the Senate and the government acting up on what the Justice Minister said of interpretation of the Supreme Court. You can term that as political. You can term it as political, but the truth about it is the Justice Minister and the Supreme Court, who should they listen to? And the Supreme Court, but because they don't want to listen to the Supreme Court, they're looking for an avenue to escape the Constitution, to escape doing what is right, so they link towards the Justice Minister, and that's unfair. So for me, I would never come in public and say, hey, this is political. What they have done to Fanatic Kofa is illegal. His removal is illegal. The same way what it did to Kabila Janneh was illegal. I stand by it today. I stand by it then. And I will stand by what is true. I'm not going to use the word it's political because people want to benefit. Mr. Kane, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Today,
you were on fire. Yeah. Meanwhile, I want to say thank you to you and to Monk and Steve, for continuing to hold the show going. I listened to all of you guys, but now I think we are about to go to the news bulletin. Maybe, is that right? Or no news bulletin today? Or what's going on?
We are about to leave. We are about to leave for the news bulletin. So maybe we will leave the three of you on the show, and after that, then we join you.
I wanted to give my opinion while we're on the radio, because what Steve just said, what is political and what is legal, what is illegal. You cannot divorce politics from anything that has to do with government. Yeah, some things can be illegal, some things can be legal. But every government's actions, whether impeachment, is driven by politics. They use legality to score political points. They use legal means to score political points. They interpret constitution to score political points. So all of those things, you cannot divorce them from politics, and they go together. Whatever that's going on, whether you term it legal or illegal, it's still political. It's politics. They are politicians. The office of the speaker is a political office. The office of the president is a political office. So you use political means to take actions. Some can be purely political, and some can have some legal implication. So whatever is going on with Fanatic Kofa, before I get into that, Mong and Steve, I don't know whether you guys announced today is Friday. I don't know, yesterday, our people, day before me last week, our people, they were not happy with the position me and Mong took. They didn't support SKTV. But I'm confused.
I did that already.
Yeah, Steve and Melbourne were on the side that most of you are thinking. So how come you guys can consider Steve in a position, and you punish SKTV for the position of me and Monk? However, you got to support SKTV. We are having conversation about our country. We're here to share information. We are here to discuss issues. We all have our own opinion. And the real issue is that everything going on right now, It's all politics. And if there's any legal implication, whether it's illegal or legally done, the most powerful organ in the country is the Supreme Court. If Supreme Court could not emphatically discuss and or come down with a decision legally, who are we to say is legal issue or is it illegal? The Supreme Court knows the law more than all of us. They know the law more than all of us. Yeah. They are the one that are clothed with the authority to interpret the Constitution, what is legal, what is illegal. What they said, they came and said, we will interpret Article 33 and Article 49 for you guys. But articles that we are even interpreting for you guys right now, some are vague because it didn't give clear understanding or clear stipulation as to how certain actions should be taken by the minority if the majority to comply on the majority, to make sure that the majority comply. There's nothing in the Constitution that clearly defines that. Also, you people in the legislature, you have failed to create anything or to take any action that can give you a way that you can compel the people to comply. That's what the Supreme Court say. So because at this point, giving you the two things I will give you, any action or setting that is not in line with the two that I told you, that we just told you, are considered ultra-virus. I heard some people calling it yesterday antivirus. I heard some people saying coronavirus. Yeah. So everybody calling it their own virus right now, but that's what it's called. And then they went further to say, however, even though we interpret those things to you, but anything what you're doing right now, that something that you're supposed to do without me telling you. Because we too don't want to violate the Constitution that says separation of power. And once the Supreme Court mentioned that we don't want to violate the law because we don't want to be implicated in what we consider a separation of power, then definitely the entire thing remains political than legal. If it's political, nothing is. If it's legal, nothing is bigger for the Supreme Court to decide. Nothing in the country. Absolutely nothing. If we either agree that the Supreme Court was not honest, that the Supreme Court is compromised, that the Supreme Court leave the ball hanging that anybody can go for it based on their political interest, or the Supreme Court was right to say this thing, it doesn't amount to the area. Because, if you ask lawyers, there are things that they call reading phase of a decision and a decision phase of it. The reading phase, they will come and read to you and explain to you what you need to know about the law. But to say they should make decision, this is the right thing to do, and say you have to do this, you have to do this. That means the Supreme Court is making decisive, taking a decisive posture and tell you exactly what you need to do. If you don't do it, then you are violating the law. But the Supreme Court left it open-ended. We told you anything you're doing right now, anybody don't do anything outside of X, Y, and Z. That's beyond your power. But the thing here, what you're doing, we can't tell you what to do. You're supposed to know what to do. So legally, we don't want to do anything that will put us in problem. Then, for us to go and violate the Constitution. So if you ask me, legality, constitutionality, politics, everything go hand in hand. They are all together. By the end of the day, whether somebody who say they try to remove the guy illegally, they try to remove this guy, lawfully, I would have one question. Assuming that the majority they don't have the 49, but Fonati does not have the 37 to establish a quorum to do business. And the Supreme Court telling you there's no legal remedy to making sure that the majority come to the section to join with the minority, with the speaker. Then where do you go? If the speaker cannot function at all, because everybody took their position. They don't have the number to remove the speaker because everything all the number they add there, all the thing there, all that one was fiasco. They were all fake, but they just did it just to have something to work with, to say we have this. But assuming that they have nothing, and then the speaker got less than 37, but they keep their 43. They have quorum. Speaker does not have quorum. Now, where do we go from there? And the Supreme Court is telling you there's nothing to compare the majority to go and give the minority a quorum. And they say, even though you don't have nothing in the Constitution and you will never develop anything to make that to happen, we cannot go further than this. We don't want to violate the Constitution. Where do you go from there, Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Kane. That's a good question. I think this is where we should have started the question because, a lot of people come to listen. Some people click on, they follow us. Some people watch from a distance. And like it or not, I'll say this. We've built a reputation over the years that people respect us. They might not agree with us necessarily, but they respect our opinion, our views. One of my frustrations over the past few times has been, we know what is right. But when we start to give into the narrative that this is politics, then I think we are aiding and abetting these guys who want to do what is wrong. This is my frustration, to be quite honest. This has been my frustration. We know what is right. Monk know what is right. Monk know what the guys are doing. And this thing that they're doing could potentially plunge this country. But instead of us standing and saying, no, whether you're considering it as politics or not, you guys are on the wrong path. You guys are doing what is wrong. It's our responsibility to do that. It is. Because when we leave from here, people listen to these shows. When we keep playing this thing, the thing is politics, and these men they're playing politics, then we're encouraging them to continue to be on this route that they're on. The same way how we stood up against George Weah, when we knew that it was some of the things that George Weah were doing were politically expedient, we spoke against George Weah and said it was wrong. It was not because we hate George Weah. It was not because we didn't understand that this was all politics. It was because we understood that the country matters more than this politics thing. So the question I say who asked, which I think is a brilliant question. I believe we should have returned to status quo ante, let the code say, and call these guys out for electing Kun. Because once you cross that line, now you are creating problems. They should have had no right to go and elect Kun illegally and impose themselves. The same thing too, we should have stood up and called on this government and said it's a shame on Joseph Boaga, shame on Yombli Kanga Lawrence, shame on Jeremiah Kun, that they will even aid and abet this thing to be where it is today. Where we are today is because people from the executive are fueling this thing. And we need to stand up. We need to stand up and speak up against this. We can't come on this show and keep speaking to the narrative of these guys. We are enabling and creating problem.
Steve.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes, Mr.
I want you to answer my question.
Well, I just answered the question. The answer is these guys should move on. The answer is
listen, maybe you didn't understand the question, so let me rephrase my question. You are going too far. You're going all the way to electing Kun. I'm not talking about electing Kun. Electing Kun, anybody can choose to say the process was illegal or the process was fraudulent. I have said over and over, all the number they accumulated, in the way they did it, it was all fake. I've said that. But they did it because they found it politically expedient, and they did it. But what I'm telling you now, before reaching to election of Kun, assuming that the people they wanted to remove the speaker, they don't have the number to remove the speaker. But the speaker does not have the number to establish a quorum. And there's no law that demands that those people the majority, they have to go and comply with the speaker. If you have the stalemate, where do you go from there?
Very good. So what will go from there? I think you stated it yesterday on the show. Yesterday you stated I listened to you. What will go from there? I think it was you or Mog or somebody that said something in that line. What will go from there is at this point, the government, especially the first branch of government, is not functional. It's the first branch of government is not functional. And if the Senate shouldn't even be working, nothing should be going on. Now, where we go from there was where Joseph Yuma Boakai, where the Yomli Kanga Lawrence and other people should have told those majority black people, say, listen, the Constitution said that the presiding officer, which is a speaker, should be the one to be able to compel. But since there is no provision that say how he can compel them, then now Joseph Boakai, Yomli Kanga Lawrence, other people should say, listen, I'll go back on the speaker's gavel. Present your case with your 49 people that you're saying.
No.
That would never happen. Then interference from the executive.
Wait now.
Legality, then you're telling the president to break the law.
So 30 seconds. Yeah, I can put 30 seconds to back on the video. I just want to inform you that.
Okay, thank you so much. So in politics, don't tell me say there's not negotiation going behind closed doors. There are negotiations. Again, I'm saying for the betterment of the government moving, Joseph Yuma Boakai, Yomli Kanga Lawrence could have used the persuasive because they took this thing to the Senate. They did take this thing to the Senate before, and the Senate constituted a committee. This is where they should have stopped everything. Let me say this: if the government stops functioning, and the people who are allegedly sponsoring this other group of people, if they stop sponsoring it, these guys will be forced to fall in line. Now, my point is this: they could have used negotiation methods. Again, part of it also, I'm not excluding the Fanatic Kofa man. Fanatic Kofa, this is the perfect opportunity. It should have been a perfect opportunity for him to use persuasive method to reach out to the lawmaker one by one too as well. Simultaneously, they can do this because at the end of the day, the government got to function. But I'm saying the government should have shut down. That is my point. The government should have shut down and they can do negotiations and have conversations behind closed doors. Whoever they want to include, they can include it. But the government should have shut down if this was any serious minded government, as opposed to the government siding with the so-called majority black to remove illegal speaker and take away the security and everything and strip the legal speaker.
Forget about all the things that happened after they removed the man.
Can I come in a little bit?
Oh, yeah, come in, Monk. I will come in and clarify.
Yeah. You see, Steve, let me be frank with you. That's why we come on SKTV. That's why some of us subscribe to SKTV. We know they listen to our viewing audience here. We don't want to be like the regular folks out there that want to push propaganda. The position Sekou and myself took on this issue is not because we want to aid in a bad one group. The thing here, it's just the nature of the sport. It's just the nature of the game. If you read the U.S. communication, I want for one of them, these so-called international partners, they will never come out and vehemently say, oh, the action of the majority black is illegal. And the Supreme Court couldn't do that. And there is a reason, there is a method to the madness. Let me tell you something, Steve. When you do your research all around the world, the U.S. Congress possesses more lawyers than any other congressional or parliamentary body in the entire world. And what's happening to Fanatic Kofa, like what I keep telling you, when we come on the show, I say, you will start learning the day you start questioning things that you were told. Because all along you were told that the Constitution, the rule of law, the law is the law. That's a lie. I listened to a lawyer, one of the top in the world when it comes to constitutional law, Jay Sekulow. He was hired. Jay Sekulow said when politicians read the Constitution, they are not reading it to reaffirm what is on the books. They are only looking for loopholes to exploit. So when you are looking at constitutional provision, you can only hang your hat on provision that are insulated from political manipulation because somebody will come to test the law. That's why when you go to the Supreme Court, the reason most speakers around the world will resign because they understand at the end of the day, there is no constitutional remedy to a legislative impasse. That's why I told you. So rather than dragging the country through the mud, rather than bringing chaos and confusion, that's why the very U.S. government say, when you read that document, the key word that you don't even have to read the whole document. They say democratic process, rule of law, open, transparent, political process, compromise, peaceful debate. Those were the words. They will never come out to tell you emphatically that the position of the majority black is unconstitutional. And why do you think they don't want to do that? Because they understand. Look, you don't have to agree with me. Most of our audience don't have to agree with Coach Sekou and myself. I am just telling you, in this game, that's how the game is played. Whether you like it or not, that's just the nature of the sport. From the beginning, I told you, I said, Fonanti Kofa could have done the noble thing. Fonanti Kofa's job was to consult with his whip. The next thing, once he noticed there is a crack in his caucus, my brother, let's reach out to the other side, let's go negotiate. If Fonanti Kofa being a speaker can tell me that he cannot negotiate with 7 lawmakers to give him quorum, it's the end of him. He can take it to the Supreme Court in America. He can take it to the British House of Commons or the British House of Law. He will never win that case because all around the world, that's just the sport, that's just the nature of this game. And if Fonanti Kofa had quorum, because people say, oh, they illegally removed Fonanti Kofa, I say, no, that's a lie. They never removed Fonanti Kofa. Fonanti Kofa removed the speaker. What they did, they stripped Fonanti Kofa of his power, rendering him useless, even though he carried the speaker title. Because if you give Fonanti Kofa a due process and you remove him or he resign, then it is considered a removal. Fonanti Kofa is still your speaker. The only difference is Fonanti Kofa cannot do the work of the speaker in the absence of a quorum. So what they did, they look for the loophole that they exploited for political reason. That's why I tell you, Constitution will not give you a remedy. That's why the Supreme Court say, you know what, we can talk about Article 49. How can you call certain people and say they went beyond? Because when you look at the word, the ultra virus, they only mean you overstep your legal or authoritative bound. Okay, but you are telling me that setting is not illegal. Okay, if that setting is not illegal, then how do you thread the needle to say, okay, the action from that setting is illegal?
No.
You're confusing the people.
Monk, I don't think that's what was said though. The setting was considered illegal because the ultra virus in itself encompasses everything. We can't they were not separating it from
it. But then why they told them to go and do the right thing?
Yeah,
how are you going to interpret that? If you cannot define the right thing, how do you? Okay, tell me what do the right thing mean in that case?
Do the right thing means
Supreme Court.
You go back on the gavel, cut all that nonsense that they were doing about going to that other place, and go back to the House of Representatives and then follow the process. That's what doing the right thing means. What does doing the right thing mean?
That's how you interpreted it. That's how you interpret that. Do the right thing.
Do the right thing mean? Yeah. How would you interpret that?
Oh, because they are talking about people forfeiting a salary. They are talking about benefit. They are talking about or disciplinary action. So that's why make it to be vague. I want to tell you, if the Supreme Court want to be the final arbiter of the law, you cannot be giving me a signal that people will go and interpret their own way. The reason I keep making an argument because it's not only limited to Liberia, and that's the problem people get with me and Sekou. You want us to emphatically call something that even people that carry more power are not even brave to do. So who am I? I'm just a pundit on SKTV. I'm just telling you, whether you like it or not, you can call it unconstitutional, you can call it illegal. At the end of the day, these things are common all over the world. We see it on TV. People buy big screen TV. They get some people that in a building that got 85 screen TV. You see it happening here every day. And I said, there are more lawyers in the U.S. Congress than any country on the planet. So if they can do it here, then Fonanti Kofa is on no exception. So when people say, oh, you violating the Constitution, I say, like, you're confusing yourself. Which Constitution is it violating when the Constitution itself cannot give you a legal remedy to what's going on? They are telling you whether it's the House standing rule and order, there is no remedy. In the Constitution, there is no remedy. So how do you get solution when there's no remedy to something? Isn't that what they call undefined mathematics? You solve your problem with our answer.
Yeah, then you go back to Stataco Antique.
Let me come in for a second.
Then you go back to Stataco Antique until you can determine your for it to go your way.
Okay,
you don't go and go away somewhere else.
Let me say this. This whole idea of status quo antique, that one has outlived its usefulness. That was way before the Supreme Court decided to come up with an opinion. Supreme Court told people, you'll go back to status quo antique until we can have the conference to meet, to have a conversation. They had a conversation. The Supreme Court said, all the thing you're doing is not getting to the legal part yet. You'll go back and face it. So that after that particular meeting, that whole status quo antique thing expires. The status quo antique meant that your go, your wait for everything you were doing until you can meet with us. Once they had that meeting, that startup until expires. That one is over. Whatever decision that is made after that, that's the decision. Then they went back. They went back again. They started doing exactly what they were doing politically. Fanatic was not satisfied. He said he had few things that he outlined to pray for with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court came, but they did not even address everything that was outlined by him. They said, for us, everything you're supposed to do, I think you all know A, but maybe let me tell you, you're supposed to do S, Y, and Z. You're supposed to do S, Y, and Z. This constitution, this number of the article 33, give you guys the opportunity to do S, Y, and Z. But even though you, the speaker, you have the right to adjourn as much as you want, and to also compare the majority to come to you, but there's nothing in the constitution that gave you the power to force them to do that. So because of that, we believe their problem can be solved. The only way we can solve the problem is to amicably resolve the problem.
We just political.
The political problem. Like you Steve said, there was negotiation here. All the negotiation that you talk about, whether Joseph Walker using his leverage or Youngbley or other people there, all those political maneuvering were going on. But yet, if everybody remain resolute to say, you know what, we are not going to budge, we're not going to, cave in, we're going to hold on to our positions. Guess what happened? Then you go back to square one. The fact that the Constitution gave you no power to compare those guys to come to give Fanatic quorum. The only thing Fanatic could have done is to make sure use persuasive method to have a quorum. Once you got quorum, it's over. But the fact that Fanatic was unable to have a quorum, the fact that Fanatic lost the confidence of majority member of the House of Representatives. What Fanatic want to force himself to be speaker? If you're not going to have, if you can't run anything, let's just nothing happen. Those guys, they don't elect anybody. Nothing happen. They don't elect because all those things they do illegal. They don't want the illegal election of whom and blah blah blah. Fanatic is still the speaker. Let's agree for the sake of argument. Fanatic is still the speaker. But what good is a speaker if he cannot function? So you want because for Fanatic the government should shut down. As opposed to Fanatic let he resigning, but you want the government to shut down. And that's a political decision. The people can choose. Let's say, for example, the Senate could have chosen to say, you know what? Since you guys having a stalemate, after certain number of days, legally we're not supposed to be functioning. So we're going to go on a reset. Once you guys can get back to your senses, we'll all come back. That means we're going to create a constitutional crisis. That means the government was going to collapse. But if all actors are conspiring to do one thing, and there's nothing, if there were anything illegal, the Supreme Court could have been very clear and emphatic to say, hey, the case before us, the Supreme Court knew very well. All the settings, all the actions, everything that was going on by the majority bloc. Supreme Court could have said, hey, everything the majority bloc did was not in line with the Constitution. Therefore, all your actions or activities I consider ultra-virus. Case closed. That means everything that they did, the Supreme Court is there for a reason. Those of you who are saying, oh, Supreme Court can't go and tell the person you run. No, you don't even know what you're talking about. Anybody saying that? The Supreme Court is there to be clear and emphatic, especially anything that has national security implication, anything that has the the propensity to undermine the peace and stability of the country. So, and the Supreme Court does not see the need to be emphatic, to be clear, to save the nation. They're supposed to be the final arbiters of our laws. If they could not be emphatic and come straight and come clear, that to tell you that the Supreme Court is compromised, the Supreme Court is leaving room for the government to come, because every decision the Supreme Court will take, including order, it will have to be enforced by the Justice Ministry. And the Justice Ministry is headed by the Justice Minister. If the Supreme Court believed that the decision that they made was not carried out or enforced by the Justice Ministry, the Supreme Court, in fact, the Justice Minister went and interpreted the way he wants to. The Supreme Court has the right to call and said, Mr. Justice Minister, you are wrong. In fact, this is what we meant. We meant that these people who were acting the way they were acting outside of their power. So therefore, the ultra-virus phrase is directed at the majority bloc. So therefore, your interpretation is not what we said. And the Supreme Court, you must say, we can make all the argument we can make. But the final arbiter of the law, the final interpreter of any laws in Liberia is the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court cannot emphatically state that the people, they are wrong, you just leave it open-ended and leaving it with everybody to interpret the way they want to interpret, trust me, everybody will interpret it to their benefit. And that's exactly what the Justice Minister did. They did it, they interpreted to their benefit, and until the Supreme Court can come and say the action of the government through the Justice Minister is illegal, I'm not in the position to say it's illegal, because the Supreme Court is the one that decides as to what is legal, what is illegal in the country. And they were there, and they cannot say that. So for me, everything they are doing is all politics. Once it has legal implications, the Supreme Court still have the power to come and decide, and people will follow.
Thank you so much, Mr. Connor. I heard what you said. Like I said, my only disagreement with you and Monk is for you guys to say the Supreme Court did not say the setting were illegal. The Supreme Court said the setting were illegal. As evidenced by that, the Supreme Court said ultra-viral, whatever they were doing. The Supreme Court said the Supreme Court is not going to write it the way you want them to write it. That's not how Supreme Court writes. You know that.
Let me do this. You misunderstand the whole thing. The Supreme Court did not say your sitting or the majority was illegal. They didn't say that. You know what they said? Go and read it. They read the articles of the Constitution.
Article 33 and Article 49.
Is there anything?
Yes.
Anything. Any setting.
Right.
That is not in confirmation in line.
That is but then the other part telling you,
they say Article 33 and 49 is open and vague. How do you interpret something like that?
Listen,
go ahead.
The Supreme Court said anything that is not in line with Article 33 and 49 are considered ultra-virus, right? But the majority people are telling you they acted in line with Article 33 and 49. Who's to say no?
And here is where
you say your action was ultra-virus. They say any action that they will not be in line with it. Okay, they say, okay, our action was in line with that. Could the Supreme Court say no? Your action was not in line with whatever because they're the one that have the right to interpret the Constitution. And they come and say any action that is not in line with Article X, Y, and Z are considered illegal. And the other people can say, okay, for us, as far as we know, our action was in line. All our actions were in line of articles of the Constitution. Who is there to say no, if not the Supreme Court?
Well,
because
this is where the Supreme Court was emphatic. the Supreme Court was emphatic. This is where and you spoke again. Let me speak now.
I'm not saying anything. I'm listening to you.
This is where the Supreme Court said, Article 33, you can't have no quorum without the speaker. You can't have that. But I article. No, let me finish that. Well, let me finish that. No.
Don't say something that the Supreme Court didn't say.
No, you spoke and listen.
Those articles and said, when you read to the era of quorum, it said the presiding and it said the speaker. And that's what I'm saying now. In his absence, the deputy speaker.
Let me say. Don't
just
no, Mr. Kane. When you speak, I listen. Let me finish my thought. Then you can.
I can interject. Like what you can do too.
Okay, so here's the thing. The Constitution is very clear. The speaker is in the country, in the same building with them. There is no way you can say he is absent. It's not possible. It is not. So that means if you go inform yourself and the deputy speaker comes there with you and you say you are forming a quorum while the speaker is within that same vicinity, in that same area, it's wrong. It's unconstitutional. That's the first part we need to get clear out. The second part that we need to get clear out to tell you that the setting was illegal. They cannot use the same wrong thing that they did to come back and say they're going to remove the speaker. They can't do that. The speaker was present in the same building. The speaker came to work every day because the Constitution also states that the speaker can adjourn quorum if he doesn't have the number and compel them to come. However, that's when the Supreme Court came here and said the compelling of these people in the part of the Constitution is vague. Because I took time to read that in comparison with the Constitution. So it's vague. Say they didn't show the roadmap how the speaker will compel these people to come to this. That's when the Supreme Court alluded to the vague part of it. It did not say that the Constitution was vague. So in this context, the Supreme Court spoke directly about the majority black and said,
no, can I read that provision again for our audience to hear? Yeah, go ahead. It's very short.
If you have a question, then you can ask it. We can go ahead and read it. So, Steve, let's agree. We are confused. Both party, majority, minority, they are confused. The Minister of Justice is confused. Joseph Barker is confused. Everybody's confused. At this point, we have a stalemate in the country. The country is gearing up for some level of instability. Don't you think the Supreme Court still have the responsibility? Let's agree that everybody's confused. Everybody's interpreting their own way. Don't you think the Supreme Court still have the responsibility to come up? You say now Supreme Court was emphatic. I'm saying Supreme Court was not emphatic. Other people say Supreme Court was emphatic. Other people say no, not emphatic. Other people say no, this is what Supreme Court meant. Other people say no, this is what they meant. Do you think the Supreme Court have the responsibility at this point to save the country from headache, from anything? Instead of you interpreting for the Supreme Court, me interpreting for the Supreme Court, don't you think the Supreme Court now at this point, the fact that everybody is somehow showing some level of confusion and misunderstanding, do you think the Supreme Court now have the responsibility to clarify to the nation as to what they actually meant and who they were referring to when they said the actions, any action outside of the article that they read were ultra-virus? Don't you think the Supreme Court had that responsibility at this point to save the country?
No, Supreme Court don't operate like that.
You don't know how Supreme Court operates. You're not a lawyer.
No. Wait now. You ask me a question. Ask me a question.
Yeah.
No. Mr. Kane.
The responsibility.
Mr. Kane.
Supreme Court does not have the responsibility to do that.
Mr. Kane. Let me end my point. I only made one statement and you come here again. Hold on.
I see you. I don't want to ask my question. Then you can elaborate. You can't
the Supreme Court does not just wake up. Because two people making power and just don't want to talk inside. That's not how they operate.
But the case is already in the Supreme Court.
No, that's not how they operate. So Yeke said something here that day. I listened to the recording. Yeke said something and you and Mom were going back and forth with Yeke. It's important for us to pay attention to that thing because it has reached a legal point. If somebody is not injured, the Supreme Court does not get involved. So that's why you see Fanatic Kofa talking back to them for clarity because he feels he's been injured after the rulings. And so now it's incumbent upon the Supreme Court to provide clarity. The Supreme Court will never wake up because you see this, the other person answering in the way, the other person answering the way, and get to and talk. That's not how it operates, Mr. Khan. And that's all I'm trying to say.
I agree with that now. So at this point now,
right
now, when nothing went back there,
yes,
it is no longer me,
right,
Sekou,
right,
or Steve, or Mong, or Mabon,
right,
to decide what is unconstitutional, what is not unconstitutional.
True.
It is so now people
Yes.
who holding us accountable,
right,
or thinking that we are not doing the right thing, by calling it unconstitutional, that means you have wronged us. The person, because we are not clothed with authority,
right,
we cannot tell you what is unconstitutional, what is constitutional, because why the final arbiters, they left it hanging. Now the case is going back to them. Do you think now the Supreme Court has the responsibility to run the right, to right the wrong? Do you think now you can still blame us to say it's constitutional when the Supreme Court is the final arbiter of the decision and they have it? Why don't you just give the Supreme Court the opportunity, the benefit of the doubt, to come on and tell us exactly what they meant?
So, Mr. Kane, and this is where I agree with you now. Now that the injured party has taken it back to the Supreme Court, it's incumbent upon the Supreme Court to provide clarity and context based on the previous ruling or any other thing that it would say about this case going forward. I agree with you 100%. So, our responsibility is to ensure, because we are part of the fourth estate and we are part with our responsibility is to ensure that we push for the right thing to be done. Our responsibility now is to ensure that we push the Supreme Court to respond to the injured party or to provide clarity and context. That is our responsibility now. But us going back and say the Supreme Court never said anything about this and the Supreme Court never rendered the other judgment, that's where I say I don't agree with you, Monk. The Supreme Court ruled. They said that these guys, their settings and their doings based on Article 33 and Article 49, these guys were in wrong.
Can I come in?
What
I love Steve and I love the new twist Steve and Uncle Yeager put on the thing. Let me tell you something, Steve. Okay, there was the same people who said that the constitutional rules or the Supreme Court ruling for Nanti-Kofa favor. He who is standing with the speaker is telling you, say, oh, there is a condition and that one party must be injured before the Supreme Court can interpret. But what he failed to realize is he cannot even give you a single provision in the Constitution that say that the parties must be, that Yeager Koluba quote that particular provision. And like I keep saying, look, let me tell you, when you want to talk about political injury, that's why the Supreme Court tells you that no, we are not interfering, because at that stage now they become political. Because let me tell you something, Steve. I said it on the show. The position Sekou and said took. It's not because we are aiding and abetting anyone. We are just looking at the precedent. We are just looking at the reality, and that's how this thing will end up. The reason why speakers around the world usually resign because they understand that there is no point in fighting. It's not because they don't read the Constitution. No, they know the Constitution, but they know that it's a bridge to nowhere. It will only drag the country through the mud. It will only bring about some kind of instability and chaos. At the end of the day, you will not get any legal remedy from the Supreme Court on this particular matter. And let me just go over this thing because it gets I get few sentences. It said that's why the Supreme Court ruling said that the court interpretation of Article 32 of the Constitution is that whether a simple majority is sitting or a lower number, in both cases, the presiding officer defined in Article 49 of the Constitution is the speaker, and in his absence, the deputy speaker. That in an event where the speaker is presiding, this is where they were very, very emphatic. They spoke simple English. In the event where the speaker is presiding over a minority, the Constitution is devoid of the mechanism and how the minority is to compel the attendance of absent members, and the legislator has promulgated no enabling statute or standing rule setting for the process for compelling absentee members to attend session as envisioned under Article 33. Under these circumstances, the Supreme Court cannot do for the legislature what is within its purview to do. as to avoid, as to do so will be a violation of the Constitution. So when Yeke is citing injury, that fanatic cover is the one being affected because of a political situation, I bet you 99.9% of the time they will find another vague argument to give you, and they will not come up with a single and emphatic statement to say the majority black is illegal.
Somebody said you should read Article 20 because that's where you talk about the party who is injured should be able to take it to the court. And that's the rightful proceeding in any country, in any society. When you feel injured, then you take it to the court. A common sense thing. Don't be honest. When you feel injured, you take it to the court. So after the ruling of the Supreme Court, Fanatikova feels that he was violated. Now it's incumbent on the Supreme Court to say, Fanatikova, you were not violated. Your rights were not violated. Nobody injured you. Guess what? Let the man move on. Normal business case closed. But the Supreme Court now, let's say, I agree with Sekou 100%. It's incumbent on the Supreme Court. And that little games that the people owe them.
No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, security for this reason, property, privileges, or any right except the outcome of a hearing judgment consistent with the provision laid down by the Constitution and in accordance with the due process. Justice shall be done without sale, denial, or delay, and in a case not arising in a court not for the record. Honor or court martial, and upon impeachment, the party have the right to trial by jury. They say the right of an appeal from a from the judgment, decree, or decision or ruling of any Supreme Court, administrative board, or agency, except the Supreme Court shall be held inviolable. The legislature shall prescribe rule. They're going back to the same legislature, the same people. The legislature shall prescribe rule and procedure for the easy, expeditious, and inexpensive filing and hearing. That's what I keep telling you. They tell you now, even if you go to the Supreme Court, the legislature is still giving power now to set the precedent. That's why I keep telling you, the reason speakers resign is not because they don't understand the Constitution. They understand the fact that there is no point in fighting or legislative matter at the Supreme Court because there will never be a remedy. That's the same thing. So maybe a person who reference article, maybe he never read provision B of that same or provision in the law.
Well, I hope Melbourne can counsel, Melbourne can help us. Today, I know we'll switch a conversation on the tomorrow.
So hold on a second. Let me just give us update. One question donor sent us $50 for the first time. We appreciate it. Then somebody else sent $75, and they said the $50 for the monthly contribution as a stakeholder, and then the person also sent $25 for today. So $75 for today. We got $75 for today. Just an update.
We're gonna perform. I think both are one, like the Supreme Court ruling, right?
Yeah, so, but let's take some calls, Mr. Can I beg you? Let's take small calls.
Yeah, that would be the line. So
tomorrow we'll focus on Boaka's 12 months. We'll consider all of that today. Today we
that one great the rescue mission.
Yeah, for 12 months. Because we're the first sport I can always do it now. So we got to see tomorrow where they are now. I know so far from all indications they are in Yo-Yo and North. But we'll see. Anyway,
I got different.
Well, that's great. So let me go to the international line quickly because receiving international calls to.
International caller then because it's going to be calling here. We open the line over there for the international caller. They should not be calling Mebon. They should be calling us. We open the line for the Liberian people to call in. Forget about international caller for now. All right, Mebon. Forget about international caller. Take local calls, and when we open the lines here, the international callers will call in. We can't give the Liberian people time to international callers. We can't do that. Open the lines in Liberia.
Yes, go ahead, Kodre. Is that your question?
So if Sekou agrees that Article 33 is referring to the minority group, that is to say the Flanting Kofa group, how can someone be absent when the person is carrying on a duty that was given to them by the Constitution? Remember, the Supreme Court did not say that there is not a law. There is a law. The only thing the Supreme Court is saying that the how is what that law does not explain. So if a man has the right. The law says you should enjoy every day. How can the other people say this man is absent? Because the only reason why they want to use Thomas Fala is because they want to prove that Valentine was absent. So I want Sekou to tell me, Sekou Mbong, in 33, how can a man be absent when he was given a constitutional duty to perform Article 33?
All right, thank you so much to this caller. Hello, go ahead. Yeah, my dear, good evening. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, I want to thank the folks in the U.S. There's something, the Supreme Court, interpretation is difficult. I've seen could not necessarily be fanatics out of the country. If you align with the majority, it will also be considered absent. Too many people getting absent wrong, thinking that fanatic not in the capital building or not in Monrovia, it has to be in London or it has to be in the U.S. No. When the majority is scattered, you could be present and still be absent, but not showing off where the majority are. Now, the interpretation from the Supreme Court is a direct one. Absent was not clearly defined. People absent is fanatic as well. He's in time. He always to the capital building with a minority this side. Absent could also be when not plenary. And who is plenary? The majority.
All right, thank you so much. To this caller, good evening. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
To my brother Steve, I want to tell your stay on your ground. Thank you for doing the kind of thing for the Liberian people to know. Now, the thing has been later, it's finished. Africa issue will not only again. They made a formal speaker already. Now, so all those that say the acquisition is coming to the capital on Tuesday to disrupt the Liberian people budget hearing. Oh Lord, my God, the Liberian people.
Hello, to this caller, good evening.
Maybe I know, maybe I know you don't like the person what he was saying, but I allow him to conclude his statement. That's it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for the fascinating discussion. This country will have a very long way to go. People will look at the reality, want to shift it, and due to intellectual activity. Let me tell you, and let me say this to President Moore and that of Sekou. The Supreme Court ruling was clear, except if those are taking this from the sentimental point. They are the one that are saying that is not clear. But if you in Liberia can analyze the Supreme Court ruling that those so-called majority blacks that they are setting was illegal, and they used Article 49 and 33. Let me tell you, Article 33 is an any setting will add a speaker, and the speaker is a presiding. So those guys were setting, where were they setting? To ILJ? Is that a suitable area? Is that a constitutional institution for them to sit there? Need to start this kind of attention in this particular country. Because these are things that carry the country backward. The reality is there. So these guys need to come out themselves and go back under the jabber of Honorable Fanatic Kofa. And that's what thankfully America now and our international panel, all of them are preaching about the rule of law. So if Joseph Walker will sit down, it is the government that will feed it, not Fanatic Kofa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to go to David King. David, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe on David King, and I do join you from my resident this thing. You see, maybe I don't know. People and more are not helping this country. Like I said yesterday, that's a pretty lot of that. Because they are kind of positive. We know what life there is to this country. And if they will sit there and putting illegal things that were narrow for them to have done, and the people doing those things to all the market, I don't know from which one of the are that they are coming from, but they need to understand that is that for same group of people. We are those people, they are right employer. We give them a job. They are our deputies. We are the chiefs. So they need to listen to we the Liberian people, not for them to sit there and do all kinds of things. You listen to Koga is not threatening Judah Jet that they will close our station trying to sell everybody their country. And I don't think that they are driving is the right way to proceed. But I have always known Joseph Boakai will not lead the country like a leader. I know very well Joseph Boakai don't have the kind of leadership skill. So he have infused that illegal way of doing things into the hands of the lawmaker, and this is the reason why they are proceeding the way they are proceeding. But we are still the
Thank you so much. Today's caller quickly. You'll be our last caller, cross over to the team. Yeah, go ahead.
Join you from District 4 to represent the community. Yeah, let me tell President Moore and say good thank you, and also Steve, and also to you, Mabel. But the issue here is this: I continue to tell you, Liberians, we are not sincere to ourselves before being sincere to our leaders, and our leaders too, because of the behavior of Liberians. Like I did Eastern yesterday, I said, see, you get to again to we are sedition all the area you get talking in favor of the Liberian. Like sedition went again you get because he was speaking the ill. They said they get 4 years. Today, Yaga told United Party before he start campaigning, he said, I will campaign for the public role. If go ahead, you accede to the presidency. But when he accede to the presidency and deviate from what he's going to do for the Liberian people, I will go against it. Today, now you see United Party go all around while praising Yaga, they causing Yaga. So we are not sincere to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has to make clarity. You get lower in doubt. Latin what they over the level in doubt. They got to come and make clarity. Everybody can be interpreting all around the place.
All right. That's it. Everybody can be interpreting all around the place. I think we have roughly about 7 more minutes to go. Steve,
my man, you eating to our time, man. But anyway.
Yeah, I know, right? You gotta give more than 6 minutes, bro.
You were leading the our time and you're our time. We're just looking at you now. You're asking something.
Maybe won't do your best.
Yeah, folks. I think I got 1 or 2 callers here. Quick, we'll get it put in for on the diaspora. I agree with Sekou that the point in the diaspora call our number. Don't call.
Yeah.
Melbourne. Don't get it, man.
They can't call in.
Yeah. And Melbourne, when people call you too, don't tell the diaspora call leader and tell them to follow instruction. Let them call. They don't call. Yeah, we're not on that thing. If you're not where to go, we're not going
to. Steve, go ahead quickly. So let that person take those 2 calls. We can have another person here. Calling.
Yeah, take that person first, okay? Take that person first.
Okay. So, caller, what is your name and where you calling from? 510 number.
My name is Jonathan Taya Dolake, and I'm calling from California.
Dolake, how you doing, my brother?
Thanks so very kindly.
All right, you're live. We don't have 1 minute. We don't have enough time. 1 minute per callers.
Yeah, I know you don't have 1 minute, but I want to say thanks for you guys too for bringing up a level of education. I will try with my 1 minute. The issue that is on that has to do with the speaker removal in the Republic of Liberia, the court did not in any way, because the argument by many people is that the court does not have jurisdiction to adjudicate the issue of political happenings at the Capitol building. There's a doctrine of political happening. The court may not dive into it. But when someone writes under their rule have been injured, the court explain in a clear tone what it has responsibility to do. And among those things is to look into the matter of constitutionality. So those who argue that because they are lawmakers and the court has nothing to do with that, they already defeated that. When the court went further to say Article 33 and Article 49, Fanati did not take it himself to remove himself. If Fanati did not take upon himself to remove himself, and if someone decided to execute Article 33 and 49, people Fanati will move on. If the court said that that person who took that decision to remove Fanati or to execute the function of Fanati will move on, because that's the cost of the matter. If they did not do things in accordance with those 2 articles, the action is ultra various. Yeah, I don't know where we're coming from with argument. But
thank you.
I hope that we can have better time, because I have a contrary view as a former legislative research analyst.
My man, come on the show. Come on the show.
Yeah, come. Yeah, I got one.
You're invited.
I got one caller. I got one caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Quickly, that the last caller for the day.
Good afternoon, Steve. Good afternoon, Sneko and Bong. And maybe in Liberia, man. Fascinating topic, man. I know this thing have consumed us for the last two months now or so, but it's important that we try to get it right. You know, I heard you guys talking about the issue of a status quo. The reason the people got that particular phrase in the law is that status quo means go back to where it was when whatever situation started. That's the meaning. So it's not in between that because it got started and then it stopped to somewhere where there were two different competing parties. No, they're telling you where the conflict originated from. That's the essence of status quo. That's what too. Guys, I just want you to get this on top. Steve, if you have a bunch of guys that got the audacity to deprive 7 constituent districts of the country by suspending their leaders indefinitely without pay, you're emphatically telling those districts that we don't need your representation here. Meaning to say you're discussing.
Thank you.
The first of the state, and their lawmakers are not part of it. So it's just a ridiculous situation that indeed this government is setting the entirety of the country ablaze, literally. But again, maybe not take all the time, ST. It's important that we give that conversation be injected into whatever conversation it is.
Thank you so much.
Even get the temerity to suspend these people, their representation.
Thank you.
Telling the people that they are
no, we're not taking no more caller. Last caller here.
Yes, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Quickly tomorrow, just so you know, we'll continue on the conversation. But tomorrow, we'll be taking Joseph Boaga's administration into consideration. We'll be looking at Transparency International. they say the menace code 26 to 100. We'll talk about tomorrow too. They say Melbourne Deacon score 26 or 100. We'll discuss that tomorrow. Not easy.
So Melbourne, what happened? Something happened yesterday. Somebody called on the show referring to the president Deacon Baka. He's not president Baka. Where are you gonna do from?
We're not taking no more call right now, folks. Tomorrow. I know Melbourne. I want to talk Melbourne before we close. Melbourne, we're coming close now. Melbourne talking to somebody. Send yesterday, Melbourne calling the president Deacon. Saying yesterday.
So anyway, before we go, Monk and Steve and Melbourne. So after the $75 we announced, that came from 2 people. So one person, the person that usually sends $60, that person sends $60 again. It's a female that always sends $50.
Yeah. So where we are, maybe we'll continue on the weekend for the rest of the weekend.
So we got $60 plus 75. That's how much? Is 135? I'm not
135,
sure. Yeah. So that's 135.
So about we got 20. Are you talking about like what? How many? 6 or almost 6.5, yeah. We'll continue on the weekend on the Sunday, then the weekend.
Wait, but Monk, sometimes why you gonna do the math? Benny, I can be looking at him. You say, oh man.
The president 135, that's 6.5. Okay, that's 7, then that's 7. It 140, then that's 7. So the message.
Yeah, because yeah, because 6. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, we're Monk for today.
So let me say something real quick while we're here. We stay here. We're gonna leave now, but let me say this real quick. To my brother and friend Abraham Conan, speaking of the suspension of those lawmakers, 7 lawmakers. Personally, the actual action of the majority is being called to questions. But under normal circumstances, there are standing rules and regulations that govern the house.
The house.
So every individual is expected, even the members of the place is expected to come and act in accordance with those rules and regulations. So if you are now following those rules, and if your behavior causes you to be punished, it's not the people that are actually punishing your constituency. It is you who have failed to act accordingly, in accordance with your rules. But the entire, activity of those guys is being called to question. So, I don't even know whether they have the right to suspend about it, why they have, activities are being called to questions right now, being discussed.
But the men can argue that they've been going to work, but the bank is missing as the Constitution said they've been running.
So that's what I'm saying.
The Constitution,
the whole idea being called to question right now. Let's see what the Supreme Court will say.
But when I was rolling, maybe 1 minute, man, that lead the station this time, what's going on? Hey, the meteor all radio. But man, that kind of that close one.
Say on radio.
No, we no longer there. Maybe on left already, man. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's close on this for the day, because tomorrow, the show, I know the show will be here. We're not talking about, we're discussing surely Joseph Walker. We're not talking about the other thing. What one crew front and fail, one crew not front and fail because more take a position, Segu take a position.
Tomorrow too, we have something very important to look at. The Liberian Revenue Authority said they raise money that never been raised in the history of Liberia before.
Okay, yeah.
That's a welcoming news, but me, I want to know where is the money.
Yeah,
and that's not forever from the previous administration. That's the last time I checked.
Money that nobody ever raised before, like Donald Trump. Something that nobody ever done before.
Yeah, it will do a big lay.
So, I want to know where the money is.
Let Donald Trump, let the world have never seen before.
If he said no more call, but Mr. Mawolo insisted. So let me say only 1 or 2 minutes, we will go. Mr. Mawolo, we're leaving. What's up?
Oh, God, you don't leave because there's one correction I wanted to make.
All right.
Listen, people keep on asking this question or saying that the court shared as far as the forcing the majority to come is not clear. No, the court didn't say that. Look.
What did the court say?
We got to be deductive in our reasoning. For example, let me get all.
No. Chef, what did the court say before you can add the qualifier?
The court quoted the Constitution that the minority can force the majority to come, but they didn't say how, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying all of us who live in America know that when your child reaches 18 years old, you're not responsible for them after that. We know that, right? We Africans, we allow that, but the American people can remind that you come into 18, you gotta get out of here, right? Does the law say how you forget your child? The law doesn't say how.
No. Yeah, but that's not what Supreme Court. That's not what Supreme Court saying. The comparison you're making right now, it doesn't match.
I'm talking about the how.
Yeah.
The Constitution allows the speaker at that point, because they didn't say how. He has the option to do it the way he wants. In America,
the way he wants? So
is it now a violation if he do it the way he wants?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Mawolo, no, I just want to ask you now. No, so at that point now, and just listen now. You will do the talking. I just want to ask you. At that point now, what mechanism do you think the speaker could have used to compare them to comply?
Now, if our legislature worked like they should, he could send the sheriff to bring them. He could send the police to get them. He could send the military to bring them. But because, listen now, I'm saying that our country is not working the way it should. Because the president and the executive is supporting what they're doing, even if he send them, they will stop them from going. But you know that in a real country, in a country that is working, what the president there is impeachable. That's why the president here will not do it.
All right.
In a real country, they will impeach the president for even getting involved like this.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to the English language, they tell you to do something. They didn't say how. That means you got the option to choose how you want to do it. That's English.
All right, Mr. Maulu, thank you. Thank you so much. Steve, among so to say we gotta go.
For me, I just want to leave with a parting comment. You know, the last time I checked, I was neither Joseph Nangwe or Yusuf Kaba, some of the associate justices. I know they are way smarter than me. I know they are the one given the constitutional authority to interpret the law. But the one thing that I know at the end of the day, I will just tell you how the process will end. I'm not going to tell you the legality because I'm not a lawyer. And one of the callers, I could hear that sentiment in his voice. He said, everybody cannot be interpreting the law how they feel like. And that's so the Supreme Court. And the answer that he wants, the Supreme Court will never give him that answer that he wants. They will keep throwing red meat out there because they understand the thing because separation of power. So everything will be done in the scope and the separation of power. The one thing I would have done if I had been in the office of Fanatic Kofa, the moment I got to realize, or the moment I was told that there is a crack in my caucus, I would have made any compromise to make sure I maintain that particular constitutional requirement to maintain my legitimacy. That was the biggest mistake and blunder on the part. I keep telling for the reason that I'm mostly disappointing Fanatic. Fanatic Kofa came with two separate backgrounds that separate him from other speakers. He's a lawyer and he's a politician. You are only 73 in the entire house. You cannot sit there and allow 43 guys to break away from you. And the one thing our people, some of our listeners here, when we told them about the move from Thomas Fowler, look, you know the Constitution, you know the loophole that you guys keep exploiting. The moment Thomas Fowler signed that letter, we read that letter word for word on SKTV. We said this thing was a calculated move because the intention was not to use a constitutional means to remove the speaker. That's why they took another means. They decided to exploit the very loopholes that exist in the Constitution that were Thomas Fowler sent a renegade group to go on the other side, and later on he freely walked away from Fanatic Kofa. So it was orchestrated, and I think that was the biggest blunder on the part of the speaker. I just believe that he's not going to survive. It's too late. Maybe he can still negotiate to get at least seven lawmakers in his column, but unfortunately at this stage, I don't see that happening. So my people, if you are mad with me or you are mad with Sekou, our thing is we're not aiding and abetting. We just are not going to play the role of the Supreme Court. The only thing we can tell you, we know how the game is played and how the game will end. That's all we keep doing here. So don't have the impression that we are on the other side. No, we have no side. Our analysis is not based on taking a side. No.
Well, as we close, let me make my parting comment.
Still, let me say this to Monk. Besides that, still Monk, they're not supposed to punish us for our opinion with Steve, the man who is fiery more than all of us.
Yes.
But that one is on their side.
Steve is on their side.
And Steve is an integral part of SKTV. So you can't still fight SKTV or blame us for taking a certain side when we have one of our key players on the other side. So I mean, we are not supporting any particular side to say we will support the people, but we talk about the argument we are making. Also, the argument is that political decision, political actions, political problem can only be solved by politics.
Yep.
Legal problem can be solved legally. And to solve political problems, mostly it has to be done by politicians or those who hired the politicians, the people. So
hearing the U.S. embassy response, isn't our confirmation of what we've been saying? That they should go, that they should compromise, that they should be the adult in the room, that they should talk it, they should have a peaceful debate. It's the very same thing because even the U.S. government.
The U.S. embassy is not saying no. We disagree with you on that. We can go into another argument with that. The U.S. embassy is not saying
that was the major talking point.
No. The U.S. embassy is not saying Fanatic Kofa should go compromise with those men. No, the U.S. embassy is not saying that. Let's not say that.
Fanatic Kofa say this compromise. It can come from both sides. It ain't got to be Fanatic Kofa side.
You go and remove a man who was legitimately you put him there, you remove him illegally. Then you say you should go and compromise with you. No, I don't stand with that. I'm not here to for anybody to abuse the right. If Joseph Boakai does not know he the leader of the country and he want the country to be in chaos because he chooses to support an illegal side behaving illegally, then Joseph Boakai himself is not responsible enough to know that this is on his shoulder. So that's why the people are intervening. They're getting Joseph Boakai warning if you look at that letter for 2 and say, "Y'all stop, y'all follow the rule of law." So I'm not going to be a part of that other one. That one, I would never encourage Fanatic Kofa to resign. I will never encourage Fanatic Kofa to resign. This issue, this thing is enough. Is enough. This foolishness must stop. Because 6 months from now, group of people will wake up again and say, "Then one kun. What we'll do? We'll get back to the same thing."
But then that what we keep saying. Then solve the problem from your own standing rules and order. If Fanatic Kofa is a speaker and he know that 2 other speakers were victimized because they see loophole, how can you be a speaker without addressing this problem, or they can become a victim too? Isn't that the same thing?
He's solving the problem in that caving in. He's solving the problem in that caving in. And I respect that. So let it be in the halu balu that Joseph Boakai government scoring 26 over 100. And I nobody. If they made a Labrampo there for 2, I heard you or somebody saying, the Labrampo are victim or whatever. The Labrampo not victimized. Let me tell you the truth. The same way how the whole LTA business and they harmonize their data and they're not victimized. Me, I say it's sweet for them. I stand with Patrick Honda and the LTA leadership. You don't get no data back. They are irresponsible. They don't need no data. If they were serious for 2, if they what?
What you question about people say they're irresponsible for?
No, they're not cost irresponsible. They're not cost.
Oh, they say they're not responsible.
Yeah, but they're not responsible because Mr. Cannon, I know my right. If somebody come and trample on my right, the LTA people, the telecommunication people say, let's get the people free airtime. The government say, no, man, I give it to them. Then everybody saying that they're all complaining, writing on Facebook. You supposed to be saying that in your house? You supposed to be saying that in your house? Everybody saying not responsible, not ready. They play what is order, take action. They don't take action there. So guess what? The Liberian people are not imping for the government going on like this. That's what me. I want for the government to shut down. Because you know what? The Liberian people don't even care about the government. So if the government shut down, they can still be taking pay. Everybody can be saying that to the whole
Steve, because that's why they know that everybody's going to be affected. They will never want that.
Exactly. So the Liberian people not ready. No, the Liberian people not ready. If the Liberian people are ready for 2, they not bring all that Supreme Court playing games, executive playing game, and the other men playing game. The Liberian people are ready for 2. They're not getting in the street and telling them to behave themselves and put themselves together. But they're not ready. So when I'm talking behind the Liberian people. And I'm here to talk for Liberian people. Liberian people not serious. They want to in Liberia who voting. Then I say they're not serious minded group of people. They're not ready for seriousness. They didn't ready. They will show that they're ready. What kind of people can get vexed? What kind of people can get angry? What kind of people can stand up? What kind of people can speak up? What kind of people?
I'm waiting on that. Nothing can make a problem for
Oh, okay.
When we talk 1 week on this show, Steve and Sekou, we talk 1 week to highlight all the GAC funding that came up from all the institutions in government. Can you imagine of all the 88 million or the 280 million from central bank, all the counter transaction, no document to prove the transaction even happened in the first place? Nobody got that. You want to tell me that the removal of a speaker will make them mad? We're talking about tens of millions of dollars. Nobody got mad. Matter of fact, they even attack us more than even the information we were giving. And you want me to sit here and believe that they will get mad because they remove Fanatic Kofa or Fanatic Kofa is on the verge of being removed? Hell no, dude. Don't waste your time. It's not going to happen.
So, Steve, let me tell you something. The way I see the whole Labrador thing, especially the Liberian in Liberia, they care less about what happened in the country.
No. Yeah.
And nobody fighting. All the people are making argument. Let me tell you, you, Steve, and few of our people, and that I know that are genuine, that are really in this for the rule of law. They believe that Fanatic Kofa has been maltreated, has been, taken advantage of because they are the government. A lot of people believe in that. And most of the ladies here that support Fanatic Kofa, I know some of them doing it because of their personal connection with Fanatic Kofa, but some of them believe that Fanatic Kofa is on the right side of the law. But I can tell you, vast majority of the people in this fight, either side of support is just political affiliation. That's it. And then the same people, let's say the citizen, for example, Most of the women that I know that used to support Kumish. I don't know about whether Kumish is going to run now or not. But no, some of the women that I know that used to support Kumish. Most of them supporting Fanatic Kofa in this case. I don't know the reason why. Some of them believe they're doing it because they believe Fanatic Kofa is on the side of the law. But the minute you mention Kumish, even for the right reason, the same people that are supporting right now, they will start to insult. Because for them, everything is politics. There's no seriousness, there's no genuineness, there's no fairness. So if you are in politics, don't be sentimental, don't be too serious, don't get upset with people, don't create enemies for politics. People that they are not serious. Most of them, everything they do is all about politics. Trust me, it's all about politics. Yeah, so I know some of you want me to understand the way you want me to understand it, but I can tell you, the Supreme Court didn't do justice. If they did, all of you guys who, thinking that Fanatic Kofa was, Victoria in the Supreme Court's ruling, then Fanatic Kofa should have been, the one, to be supported by the.
Yeah, but he went far for injury now. Then you say he won't stay. I really don't understand how people can really.
Yeah, but the people yeah, he can go far. He can go.
And then the people want to enforce the law. They're not enforcing it in your favor.
Exactly. So that's why he's in.
So that's why the Supreme Court is going to call the point and say you're misinterpreting the law.
That's why for the injury ruling. You will see what will come out of it again.
Oh no, we'll wait for the Supreme Court to rule. We'll wait for the Supreme Court to rule. We will. We'll wait for the Supreme Court.
The politicians stay on the injury ruling. You got to stay referred to the lawmaker to set the standard in the procedure. Even when it comes to the ruling, when it comes to the law pertaining to the injury. So I don't know. And when you send it back to the house now, then the people who got a number to do business will be the one to set their rules. So I don't know how the whole injury case will end up.
They can't do business. They can't do business because the Supreme Court ran the business illegal. They can't do business. What are you talking about? The activities are illegal. What are you talking about? You can't go elect or speak up here. If they were real legal for you, why did they rush to go elect or speak up illegally? Why?
Let me
if the quorum constitutes something, why they could run normal business?
Steve,
why?
Steve, let me tell you something. Something I never said here before. Let me say. You see the whole removal issue of Fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
It was a conspiracy devised by Joseph Boakai and Kuhn, wherein they bribed certain people that took the money when one of the guys came and showed his own money. You understand? But then some seditionists didn't know that they were going to be exposed. But by the time they took the money, they put their signature on it. Seditionists are the one that removed Fanatic Kofa. Because they got it by themselves, they couldn't even have a quorum. Beyond that, even after taking the money, if they were still committed to their party or to the country or to Fanatic Kofa, they will stay with Fanatic Kofa after when the first attempt failed to remove, because they want to remove him first, but they couldn't obtain the 49. They wouldn't have 43. They say 44. Because by that time, someone's father wasn't sure. But when those seditionists put a signature on the paper, they put a signature on the paper to remove Fanatic Kofa, they were Fanatic Kofa got joke. Because they disable him, they handicap him. So when there were no way to go back now, the people now, they say, since you finish put your fingerprint on this 1 year, you finish put your signature here, whether you come back or you not come back with your signature and your signature, You think he's going to put somebody to stand on it? You see a signature, there's a signature. We're not going, whether you go Kofa now, you don't go for Kofa now, you took our money from the 5,000 for your signature. You put a signature here, your signature will use it. And then in the process, few of them, they were able to convince few people then to leave for nothing had, more than 30. The few of them, even one of those Alice Noah, who came and joined them and signed. Alice Noah is suspended now because after he signed, he said no, he didn't agree. The person said, well, you join all you can, not join all their business. We will already get a signature. Your signature will use it. So Alice Noah said, but I'm not going back to yours. Okay, then you suspend it. So everybody know in Liberia everything that they are doing is fraudulent. But my thing has been, Liberian people will sit down and allow things to happen. They want to put their pepper in your mouth. No, I'm not going to do that. If the thing is wrong, and this thing cannot be solved politically, the fact that they have the political leverage, you have the other options. It's the people's option. But the fact that the people are now willing, Steve, to get on the street to demand that justice is done, that means you must say saying here, oh, it's illegal. It's legal. We're just wasting our time. We're just wasting our time. Nothing will change. They'll do whatever they want to do. But we have to encourage the people. Every time I was saying that they will do this, the people will not do anything, people don't do nothing. I thought those statements will have angered the Liberians.
Yeah, governors them.
You know what? Seku challenge or the people even though they went ahead and did anything illegal, nothing will happen. Let's take action. Those guys, people saying that we are nothing, we're nobody, we can't do anything, even though our rights are being violated. We can't do anything. Seku challenge us. But guess what? My challenge stays stand. They will do nothing. They will depend on you and myself to tell them, say, oh, it's wrong. It's illegal.
To interpret the law.
You'll be running to come for one information, one breaking news, and then they will go home.
Yeah.
But nothing will happen. Steve, that's my point.
And I agree. And that's why I said
if you all agree that it's wrong, if you all agree, but so what do you do? What are you doing about it?
Exactly.
Tegu, if you can recall, when this thing started from the initial stage, what was the first recommendation from SKT? We said, gentlemen, if from all the congressional districts that the lawmakers represent, this thing is being politicized. Go over there, put the pressure on your individual lawmaker and force them because you got that power. That's why people got recall politics. That was the first recommendation for SKTV. That's why we told people here. This thing we know is political. Don't look to the Supreme Court. Go to your lawmaker office, you storm their offices and put them under pressure and threaten them. No, it don't have to be a nationwide protest. No. These majority lawmakers, congressional district, you can put pressure on them yourself, but no, you're not interested in that. You want for me to come interpret constitution like we're going to the Supreme Court, like cabinet channel, cabinet money Cyrus. I see you, man.
Before you go, let me say this, right? You know how many times I challenge the Liberian people.
Oh no, see you.
Yeah, we live in a Steve. We're not going to see nobody.
Go ahead, see. I mean, get closer for the day and take us home.
All right. So we'll see you tomorrow anyway. Let's just leave it there for today. But my thing is, Liberian people, those of you in Liberia, in America here, or in elsewhere in the diaspora, you even care about the people, you even care about the country, you even care about
more than the people that are there.
More than the people that are there. And there's not much you can do. All we can do is to talk. While talking, can I even move them? Can I change them? And they can only listen to you because even they agree with you today. Not because you're right, not because you're the right thing, but by the time tomorrow, even you say the right thing, as long as it's against their person or their interest, they will start insulting you. So that's what it is. Whether it's CDC side you own today, you find yourself to be legal, to be on the side of the law, whether it's a United Party, they're all the same. At the end of the day, they can only support something based on their political interest, based on political expediency. They care less about the rule of law.
No, who told you that? They
Nobody cares about rule of law. Some of you do, but they don't. But anyways, so tomorrow we got 6.5 people. So
yeah, we'll see the weekend tomorrow and Sunday, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, guys.
All right, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody. We love you guys. And we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Those that have contributed, we appreciate it. Those who haven't contributed yet, we hope you will do so. But thank you all for being here. We appreciate your time.
There are things we can do. We bring it good news and we give it to you. We touch it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Qualified people who will in the show. Blessing our time and our efforts are rest. The brothers giving us care and the parents from them. So welcome my life without care.
A lyrical health.
Master.
Le pali su meko yo ake SKTV benyo. Se macheni tina ke ase majamu. Engi sano mundi emu aye yo. Engi lofa mu aye yo.
SKTV the passion.